Every time I see this, I still laugh. And I bet you someone out there thinks you're driving around a toddler on the back of your bike. I bet you they're probably calling in going, hey, that's not safe. They have a minor on the back. Not knowing it's your mate.
The advantages of a portable wife. That is Mrs Nutnfancy coming off a 4-hour ride on the back of the Yamaha FJR. She does look like she's 7 years old.
She looks like she's always being abducted.
So on the mic, Nutnfancy, Mrs Nutnfancy's here. Say hello.
Hello.
Tactical Doodle introed us.
Yep, in the back.
And also healing up from his motorcycle crash, Mr. Last Suspect.
Hey.
What you're looking at is Highway 84. This is another awesome California ride. We were lucky enough to go out as a family. Last Suspect wasn't with us because he was still in school at the time. If you see me touch the side of my head, that's the Senna. We're actually talking, me and Tactical Doodle together. And I will have to say, and you're going to see in this video, that Mrs. Nutnfancy is quite the sport rider. One, she is compact.
Super compact.
That makes it nice.
She weighs about 5 gallons of gas worth.
Exactly. And you lean good. And I didn't hear a single complaint out of her this whole ride.
No.
And if you're wondering why they're colored like tequila vomit, it's for safety. Mostly.
You can see in all our videos, we are huge proponents of full motorcycle gear. I think we model that pretty good.
I especially.
You're alive,
Yeah.
Suspect, because you were dressed that day the way you were.
I mean, it's just a leg, you know. They grow back.
Could have been worse.
It could have been worse. Look at the forest that we're in right here. This is going through the coastal mountains, Highway 84 to the Pacific Coast Highway. It is a busy road at times. That's a thumbs up because the ride was awesome. And then we start getting in the mojo of our turns here. This is a really fun road to ride on. With sport bikes, in this case sport touring bikes. A lot of opportunities to perform the bike. And like I've said in other videos, a lot of opportunities to screw up.
I remember this one. This was kind of busy though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And
we
it
were
had
actually.
a lot of 25-mile sections.
Yeah. Well, it was when we were going down to Morro Bay. That's actually our goal, and that's what we're going to show you. Our destination was. We went through the coastal mountains, down Pacific Coast Highway, ended up in Morro Bay. And actually, this was an IHF trip too. We just were not able to find the right people on this trip. Happens.
It's tough, man.
It's tough.
You'd be surprised at how tough it is to find people to give free money to. It is.
It happens.
This totally reminds me of Return of the Jedi.
Totally does.
That's where they filmed half this stuff.
St. Forks? North of here, actually, the speeder bike stuff was filmed up in Redwood National Park, State Park. A lot of it was.
Well, technically, it was filmed on private land adjacent to Redwood National.
Come
A real
on.
fan would know that.
Yeah, that's a fun turn right there. Now, the FJR is a big bike. It's not super light for motorcycle guys out there. It is a bike you can cover a lot of distance on, though. Look at Mrs. Nutton hanging tight.
And its speed, though, I mean, it looks pretty maneuverable.
Here's a good turn right here. Were you digging this right here, Mrs. Nutton? Say something.
Yeah, I like it.
Keep talking.
I
They
just
like to hear you.
But I like to hide behind
She was actually
you.
surfing on her phone in the back the whole time.
She's actually not hiding behind me, though, but she's leaning with me. If you watch my body position, she'll mirror me, and that's what I'm saying. She's a really good backseat rider, because when I do a full lean, which the FJ really needs, according, you know, I might be leaning a little more than I need to, but in some of these corners, if you're in a full lean with the FJ, you're not caught by surprise, and you can wrap it up tight in the corner.
Well, she's certainly a better person to put on the back than Alan.
It freaks her out, man. She just can't do. She doesn't know where to put her paws.
And the duct tape does not bode well for the fur.
Now, this is sport touring, I think, at its essence. And for non-motorcycle folks in TMP that are watching, sport touring means it's a sport bike that is fast, it's relatively maneuverable, powerful, but it also has a touring capability where you can throw down a 400, 500-mile day on it and be relatively comfortable. And it can carry gear, 2 people like you see us riding 2 up here in a kind of a technical mountain windy road. to me, this is sport touring. It's one of my favorite styles of riding.
Yeah, it's kind of like the grand touring concept in a lot of the sports cars like Maserati did back in the 30s. You can go somewhere, you can be comfortable the way there and back and still have fun. Tight sweepers.
Well, it's cool because the FJ is so capable too. I mean, it's just as fast as a sport bike.
It pretty much is. It'll waste a lot of sport bikes. A lot of 1,000cc sport bikes. I've owned them. Just saying.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Oh, I like that turn. Look at that. If I was to rate myself on every turn, there's some that I look at in retrospect and I go, yeah, I didn't get that one right. But that's the challenge of sport touring, is especially 2-up, is you're trying to get perfect on these turns. It is a challenge, and that's fun. And by the way, I'm burning a huge amount of calories right here.
Wow.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I think it depends because some guys will watch this and say you're going, well, you know, you can take that corner so much faster.
Okay, here comes an emergency braking exercise, by the way. Pay attention. We do practice these together. I'm going to tell Tactical Doodle it's coming.
Yeah, we do
Just for
know
safety. Here it comes. We're going to break it all the way down. That's the signal. Boom. How's that?
Good tester.
From
Yeah.
70 miles an hour to nothing. And we do that how many times, Doodle?
Usually 3, 5 a day, depending. As long as there's a good empty stretch of traffic, you can do it safely. It's good practice.
He always had me do them, you know, before I broke my leg. Wrecked my
Very
bike.
useful.
What I should have had you practice doing more of is light braking
Mm.
on the front brake. That's
Yeah.
a skill set too, though. Now, this is really cool. This is Highway 84 still. We're coming out of the mountains here. We go into farm country. On this particular ride, I like where the GoPro's facing, that it's facing aft. You can see Tactical Doodle hanging, who, by the way, improved his mountain skills on this trip. I thought you did. We're going to show you a later video on PCH where Doodle, man, we come back through Highway 84. You're hanging tight, dude.
Yeah. That's what makes the FJR so cool, though. It's because I can take it freaking 3 states over at a time and still have fun in the canyons on the other side. Whereas other sport bikes I've ridden, I'm sick 3 hours in.
You don't come out with your wrist destroyed.
Yeah, it's not even my wrist, it's not my stomach.
Yeah.
Like riding on that high boost always gives me a stomach ache. I can't figure out why. I've tried every position, I've tried stretching it out. Yeah, I think it's because I have some fat in the midsection. It just doesn't
You're-
come.
I don't like the booster.
That's Mrs Nutnfancy. What'd you say?
I don't like the booster.
You do not like the Hayabusa riding on it.
I
It
like
does look like a large tropical piece of fruit.
Why though?
Because I feel like I'm gonna fall off. I feel like I'm gonna have to use my stomach muscle to pull myself on. I got my arms just clenched down, holding on tight. I feel like if you punch it, I'm gonna go flipping off the back.
So on the FJ, do you feel like you're more planted and in
Yeah.
kind of a cockpit area?
Yep.
She loves the FJ. It's her favorite bike to
I
ride
mean,
on.
they are
back
two
up.
different bikes, though.
They are.
That's totally FJ's niche.
Every bike is a compromise. You're not going to get everything out of a bike. You just have to determine here's a good turn right here. You got to determine what's most important to you as a motorcyclist, and that's why we're so stoked on the FJ. And we pair up nice, so our range is the same. We have a 225-mile range easy, both Tactical Doodle and myself, and that's with even the 7-year-old on the back of my bike. I mean, Mrs. Nutnfancy.
That too.
Similar capabilities. The insurance on the FJs is amazing. A lot of the stuff we'd say about them, we ought to save for a real in-depth review.
Well, it's
We will.
It's important to
Oh,
note, though.
Jarrito! Orange soda. What were you saying,
It's
suspect?
good. It's important to look at like gas capacity because a lot of dudes look at sport bikes and be like, you know, relatively upright, like middleweights, and they're like, I can do that. But you look at the tank and it's gonna be like 4.2 or something.
That's right. And if you're
It's not doable.
with other bikes that have this huge range, we're taking a break here.
And it was very hot.
Really hot. It was about 97 degrees that day. We're sweating. We're in the clim on this ride. And Mrs. Nutnfancy with her RA needs to kind of stretch out once in a while. That's why I lifted her off the bike at the beginning, because she gets tightened up her muscles and stuff.
It's easier
Hey,
to
like
lift
that
her
road.
off that way.
It was alright.
With all the gear on, you know.
Yeah.
Doodle's got diarrhea right now.
Any different from the usual?
That was very different.
We kid around a lot as a family, and what we show you is the way we really are. If you're wondering, that's an HJC modular helmet, a Mesh-Tex, first gear Mesh-Tex top. I got hit air on. Mrs. Nutton and Tactical Doodle have hit air. That's a vest that will inflate within a millisecond for a high side, so if you pound it on the pavement, it'll protect your bone structure.
Notably your neck. That's something
Yeah.
that's really not addressed in a lot of street gear. And that's the one I lawn darted off the Hayabusa face first, and I felt it inflate and go
True.
under my
Duct tape the spine back together.
Oh, good
Yeah.
turn right there, bros.
Fun fact, we actually shipped Nut and his wife back home. Tiny box, FedEx Express.
She'd fit.
It's cheaper than the flight.
She'd fit.
$20.
Now, here comes some insight to our family, and I've talked about how you should invest your time. This is a memorable experience for all three of us. I really wish you would have been there, suspect.
Yeah.
And we talked about that the whole time, that would be the entire family. But at the same time, with Mrs Nutnfancy's condition, and she's on certain meds, she doesn't want me to tell you. We got to think very carefully about putting her on the back of a motorcycle. And we had a long discussion about whether we were going to do it or not. We basically have her padded up as much as we can. She's got layers of armor on her, and you basically got to get out and live life. That's right. But you guys chime in too. Don't let me just say it. But if you're going to live, get out and live. And that's what you're seeing here.
But be smart about it.
Right.
She's got more gear than pretty much any street ride I've ever seen too. She's got her outer layers with your standard textile abrasion resistance. Underneath she usually has one of the Fox, one of the third armor. So like an armor
Fox.
jacket underneath, or the Bionic Pro. And then she's got some Bionic free ride shorts, I think, Alpine Stars. So she's got a layer of hard armor and foam under there in addition to the normal CE garbage. It's always all that stuff.
Let me tell you this, that I hear nothing but complaints when she suits up. True?
I don't envy her, man. It's a lot of stuff.
She resists every piece of gear that I make her wear. Not the helmet, but like the layers. She has like a Bionic Pro, whatever the name of that suit is.
Free ride shorts, the Pro armor.
God, it makes you feel like you're 400 pounds. I don't like that.
She likes to look cute when she's riding.
I never
apparently.
think I'm cute. I don't think that way, but I just have the fat mindset, so I don't like.
Oh, nice formation from Doodle coming up there. Here's a stop sign. So that's Highway 84. We are just intersecting Pacific Coast Highway, getting ready to go southbound. And we don't just double check, we triple check before we merge into traffic. Thank you. And then we get on it. And we get up to what, 45 miles an hour here? Maybe 50.
You can tell from the speed of the it's almost 50.
Almost 50. Look at the beach now. Now you're going to start catching beautiful views of the Pacific Coast Highway, Pacific Ocean. I mean, how can you not watch this and go, I wish I was doing the ride again? At least when it's not busy. Go on the weekends and this is a completely different ride. It's not fun.
Yeah, you're behind trailers and Subaru Outbacks and lots of dogs.
That's the solo radar detector. I got to tell you that in California, I don't know if it's really needed.
I don't know, man.
We just don't see a lot of cops harassing motorcyclists out there. Look at this.
Said
shot
every
right
single
here.
guy before he got a ticket.
Yeah.
Sure, it'll have
We still run it. I mean, I'm not going
Yeah.
to get rid of it, but you come out to like Wyoming or Utah, those cops.
That was
out
me
there
though.
can
When
be
I was on a bike, I
Sure.
rarely saw cops for some reason.
but you don't really need them. It's more for the option of going faster.
Yeah.
Oh,
In this
this
trip, I
shot
remember
of your mama.
My GPS coverage was 67 or something for 2 days straight. That's
Were you having
so
fun
long.
here, huh?
Yeah, I like it. Listening to my music.
There are some zebras in this stretch.
Oh,
This is Pigeon Point Lighthouse. I showed it to you in the Ducatis to California video. And we just showed it briefly. It's really a beautiful lighthouse. They have kind of a hostel at the base of it. I'm not so sure I'd want to stay there. I know Mrs. Nutton would want to.
I
No.
know there's a documentary about hostels that really doesn't speak too highly of them. But I don't know it's a hostel.
Being hostile to the hostels. Here we are doing a little car passing. And there's stretches when you can do this. And so you kind of have to, I don't know, come up with a plan and make it happen. That way you get ahead of them. And like Doodle was saying, our cruise really isn't that fast. Because we're looking for miles per gallon on these long trips. The more you punch it, the more you're going to have to spend on gas.
And car passing is all about pretty much being invisible to them. You don't ever make them tap their brakes or anything. It's just water on rocks and you're gone.
So here comes Mrs Nutnfancy's favorite part, lane splitting. This is 2 up on a sport tour with bags, a top case,
Oh jeez. Hate
and
it.
wife. Now these guys are actually spread apart pretty good, but
Yeah.
we've lane split in California where the roads are tight, the people are like crowding the lanes, but you can see how fast we do it. But we're not one of these crazy lane splitters that comes flying past. I just think it's dumb. I can feel her tighten up behind me though as I go past this truck. She's like nervous, right?
Yeah, because sometimes they're with our bags and the side bags are on, we barely fit through.
Here comes a tight squeeze right
yeah,
here.
this don't.
But
like
see,
it.
look at what I do. I'm not going to like push it. I wait. Just be patient, and it'll open up here in a second. It's just judgment. Use good judgment when you lane split. I see most motorcyclists in California using good judgment. I see some not. It's a great way to get around. I mean, if you don't lane split, you're looking at another half hour, 45 minutes in this traffic.
That's another reason to get a bike, though. Like, oh, why do you want a
Absolutely.
motorcycle?
Absolutely.
Especially if you live in Cali. Cheap gas. You can lane split. It's fun.
And lane splitting is legal, because I'm sure you'll see that in the comments. People complain about it.
I wish all states would let you lane split.
I don't get
Nice.
why car drivers can really be all that mad about it, because it's one less car they have to fight with for space.
Yep.
Every bike going through there, it's gone.
Better for emissions, too.
When I went through the Alameda County Sheriff's Safety course, they said statistically it is not proven to be any more dangerous than regular motorcycle riding. There's no statistics to prove that lane splitting has caused more accidents, more wrecks. He's like, you can look in any database, and this was a UHP officer. That's me waving to a car that actually moved over. This is me honking at a car that's not moving over. You know, a friendly beep, and some people are distracted. You can see in California, though, most people are watching for motorcyclists. They're used to seeing motorcyclists lane split. He's crowding right here, but it didn't. So here comes a truck. The truck are your most dangerous ones. Last year, that is 2013, there was a motorcyclist that was lane splitting on San Mateo Bridge, and I don't know what happened, but he got ran over by a semi, and he got killed. That happened in, I think, November of 2013.
Some of these gaps may look smaller too, because the bike going through them is so big.
And the field of view. Especially on a GoPro.
See, look at that dude. That's a standard lane splitter. So if anybody comes in and says, "Oh, Nutfancy, you lane split," you don't even know what aggressive lane splitting is like.
Yeah.
You ride in California for a couple months, and I'll talk to you, and you can tell me what's up.
It's humbling, because you'll be sitting there doing a good clip, and you feel good about yourself until a guy's pushing your rear doing 40 faster than you.
That's the thing that scares me most about lane splitting in Cali, is that I'll be looking at my rear view, and a sport biker comes up doing like 70,
Yeah.
and real aggressively on my backside, so to speak. There's my radar detector going off here.
That's good range. That's almost 500 feet notice.
It's a battery operated one. Better than nothing.
It is pretty good.
Now I'm in formation with Tactical Doodle, and I really love driving number 2 position. It's fun.
Doodle hates number 1.
Hate it.
Why?
I would hate it, too.
He does hate it, but why?
I like, because when I'm behind, I have a lot more freedom. I can brake aggressively. I don't know,
there
I
goes
don't
a
feel
cruiser.
boxed in.
Blasting us. We just let him go, man. I notice his safety gear.
Yeah, none.
Half shell helmet and t-shirt.
T-shirt.
He's asking for it.
Hey, man, that cotton's really tough stuff.
And then notice he's probably going to lane split up there. Watch. So we're doing like 78 miles an hour, 80. Let's see if he lane splits. I forget. He's probably going to grow impatient and just go. I see that all the time there, though.
Lane dancing.
But talking about lead is a very difficult position because you're in charge of navigation, you're in charge of spotting cops, you're in charge of planning, passing. You're not just driving as a single motorcycle, you're driving for 2. So it's a lot of work to do it right. And I like putting Doodle in lead so he can get practice at it.
You have to anticipate too, since you have a formation, how the gap's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You may be able to shoot thread of the needle, but the other guy might get stuck in there. So it's just a lot more active riding than it is riding too.
Well, my riding's pretty easy. I like it.
Yeah.
I like
Riding.
another reason I like putting Doodle in the front is for lead experience, definitely. And I probably will talk more about just my philosophy on being a good motorcycle lead. I don't hear anyone talking about it. And really, I'm just going to transpose my military formation flying experience to a motorcycle. But a reason I like putting Doodle in front is so his mom can see him. Remember I was telling you that on the trip? She likes seeing her boy up front. And
When she's not riding on mine.
oh, bug hit.
Right.
Look at the bug just splattered, so this will be the last of this. This is that hot ride in the valley. So we opted to go down the interstate in the Central Valley, and man, was that a mistake.
Wasn't it 110?
It was 110 degrees. It was miserable. It was just a
Windy.
huge
Welcome to
slog.
California.
The wind was just cranking. We were all not having fun, but we wanted to get to Morro Bay before it got dark.
That should give you an idea of the people that can get here. Nothing but motor noise within the house. Nice.
What do you think about all this motorcycling we're doing in our family, Mrs Nutnfancy?
I don't know. Was this would be something else?
So there we are. That's our cruise, and that's a motorcycle 81 miles an hour. In reality, it's more like 78. Now, the FJ's pretty close to accurate.
Mine's 5 high.
Mrs. Nutnfancy stretching her legs out.
My knee was hurting.
Finding pants that fit her, by the way, is extremely difficult because she's 5. What are you, 5'1"?
Yeah.
It's really tough.
She's basically the size of an American doll. Really not.
This is cool though. We stopped. This is I forget the town. We're getting ready to go punch through the mountains again to Morro Bay. But I was, like I said in some other videos, just look around. You'll be amazed at the stuff you can see. Like that.
Was cool.
That was a
Wow.
male red-tailed hawk just sitting on top of the very gas station. We were stretching our legs out, and I was looking around, and no one else noticed him. He's sitting
I
right
saw
there.
him. I showed you.
Yeah, she's
Did you?
not.
Oh, okay. Gas was expensive. It's very
Yeah.
expensive in Cali. I find just for me and where I'm at, if it says 20, I can easily take it at 40, maybe 50. Not that I would ever do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But always do it at your own pace.
Which we do. And actually, I tell the boys that too. I was like, hey, if I scoot up on ahead, you take it at your own pace. I'll wait up for you. Now we come out of the mountains and we're coming into actually what turned out to be gorgeous Morro Bay. And we hit it at a good time before the peak of the tourist season. What'd you think of this place, Mrs. Nutnfancy?
It was nice. It was pretty. It was unusually hot for them.
Remember that foghorn they had? It was sounding like
That was cool.
Yeah.
every 45 seconds have a foghorn that sounds. And they tried to deactivate it, and the local townspeople would not allow it. Giving you a look at
Cool,
the
man.
rock out in Morro Bay there. It was really nice. You can hear the seagulls here in a
Pretty.
second. It was a long ride. We probably put down, I don't know, not quite 400, probably 350
Cool.
that day.
Pretty good.
This is the Nutnfancy family signing off. Thanks for watching.
See ya.
Bye-bye.